Hey, so I'm back for another Starlink test here in San Diego on my balcony in Little Italy. And yesterday we did a test where we tested the Starlink V2 versus the Starlink Mini. We just ran a speed test on speedtest.net. The result was more or less the same for both of them. Can't say that one was faster than the other. And of course, the test fluctuated each time because of Starlink. So today I want to test whether you can stream from the Pixis 6K going directly to Starlink via Ethernet to Vimeo and see how that works. I'm going to test the V2 and I'm going to test the Starlink Mini. Right now we've got the V2 plugged in, and let me give you a little tour of the setup today. At the Pixis 6K, the blue Ethernet cable is the Starlink V2, and it's connected to the router here. There's a laptop with Vimeo on it, so we can check out the statistics and view the video and control Vimeo. And the cell phone is right here, already connected to V2. Let's do a speed test on each one before we get started here. Let's see what happens. Okay, more or less the same as yesterday. Now let's test the other Starlink. Starlink Mini. Online. Let's do a speed test on that one. Whoa, 172 milliseconds. That's a lot of delay. Let's run that again just to make sure. There we go, that's better. I'm streaming on the Pixis. By the way, we're streaming in RTMP because I couldn't get SRT to work, so it's just RTMP. Go, and let's see how long it takes for it to show up here. Pretty fast on the screen there. Okay, there it is. And you can't really trust the preview, so I'm just gonna go live. We're gonna go live for 10 minutes. Live. We're live. Stream metrics look good for now. So we're live to Vimeo. For each of these tests, I'm gonna let it run 10 minutes, and I'm just gonna sit here and look at it and see what happens. I'm doing a screen recording, so we'll paste that in later. There's a little bit of motion here, some cars going by, people walking, flag in the background. Pretty clear day on the bay. I would say it's gotten a lot better than when I first tested it out back in 2021. This is working really well. Although I think to really know, you'd have to let it run for like an hour or two and see how many times it breaks or drops frames. But I don't have that time today. It's been 10 minutes, and I must say I'm pleasantly surprised at how the Starlink behaved. There was only one warning in the first 2 minutes, and then from there it was pretty smooth. You can see on the stream health how it's looking. Bit rate 5.243 megabits per second, frame rate 30, average frame rate 29. Yeah, pretty good. All right, next we'll test the Starlink Mini. Now we have the Pixis hooked up to the Starlink Mini. That's the black cable here. It's going straight up to the Starlink up there. I don't know if you can see it. They're up there. Let's press start and see what happens. Go, and okay, got a signal. Great. And just like before, we'll wait 10 minutes. There we go, it's better. 5 megabits, 29, 28 frames per second. Still good. Don't notice anything skipping or dropping out on the preview. Motion looks really good. Okay, there was one bump there. What time is that? At 12:32. Didn't really notice it. All right, 10 minutes is up and another successful Starlink test. This time with the Starlink Mini. Pretty much the same results as with the V2. Very happy about that. It looks like it might be a viable alternative for having to stream without cell service. Like I said, back when we tested this in 2021 and 2022, it just wasn't happening. It worked better than expected, but you know, it's still a little fragile. If it drops for any reason, then your whole stream drops. There's no backup. Okay, there we had a little crazy drop in and out right in a row there, so might have to test this for like an hour to be absolutely sure. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'll have to look at the recording at 12:37, 12:38. Went up to 12,072 frames per second. It went up, and then it went down. It dropped to 12 frames per second. Dropped to 5 frames per second. So some erratic behavior there. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon in downtown San Diego in Little Italy, and I thought I'd do another Starlink test. I was really pumped by the success of our previous test with the Starlink and the Starlink with the LiveView Solo, so I decided to go all in and get a Peplink B1 Wi-Fi router, which has dual WANs, so I can plug 2 Starlinks in there, and it has a thing called SpeedFusion, which bonds the data in the cloud. So I decided to do the test again. We've got the Pixis, the 2 Starlinks, and the Peplink. Let me show you how it's all set up. We've got the 2 Starlinks up on the roof. You can see it, one of them right there. There we go. Just simply put on the ground, and they are aligned correctly. It's a beautiful day, no obstructions. And I've got power cord and Ethernet cable from each one going into the Peplink in the back as wide area networks. And there's the Peplink. And you can also attach a 5G hotspot. Actually, it's very hot because of the sun. You can attach it via USB, which is super cool. But we're not going to do that today because this is purely a Starlink test. Okay, and the laptop is connected to the house Wi-Fi, monitoring Vimeo. The Pixis is ready to stream to Vimeo. And I have not tested this yet, so let's just see what happens. The Pixis is connected straight into the Peplink with an Ethernet cable as a LAN, L-A-N. And we've got Pixis there. And I should start recording the screen. And I just had to plug the laptop in so I can control the Peplink through the dashboard here. I think I'm ready to go. I have not actually tested this. I've tested the Peplink and the Starlinks, but I haven't tested whether the camera's gonna work. So the test is to see if this will work for an hour. Let's turn it on and see here. There we go. Okay, great. Great, we've got a signal on Vimeo. How's the health? All right, cool. So like I said, I'm just gonna leave this on for an hour. We'll see if there's any dropouts or glitches or anything like that. I'll move the camera around. That's in motion. It just started streaming, but I don't like the looks of one of these Starlinks here. It looks like one is doing a lot more work than the other. Check this out. See, the top one is Starlink Mini 1, and that one looks like it's uploading well, but the WAN 2, Starlink Mini 2, looks like it's just downloading. The blue is upload, the green is download. So I'm going to stop this test and test each individual Starlink first. But first, before I stop, I want to see what this is like. Oh, look, there's a huge drop right there at 12:36. Okay, I've got the Starlink app connected to Starlink Mini 1. I'm going to run a speed test and diagnose this. This is the one that was doing well. So let's see what results we get. Oh, disappointing. 4 megabits per second. 5 megabits per second upload and 20. It's a lot worse than last week when I was doing this. Turn it again just to make sure. Wow, what a huge difference. The download link was less than half as before. The upload link, 17, more than twice, and 78 milliseconds latency. Wow. All right, let's see what Starlink Mini 2 looks like. Looking pretty good. I like it. This one's doing a lot better than Starlink Mini 1. Okay, well, just for kicks, let's run it again. See how different it is. It seems like the first test is always better than the second test. And this is bypassing the Peplink. We're going straight from Starlink to internet. Just like the other one, the second test is like way less than half, like a third. Okay, so 55 down, 23 up, that was better. 39 milliseconds, wow. Incredible. I don't know what to think about that. It's just, it fluctuates too much to be relied upon, so I think you definitely need this Peplink. Hopefully this Peplink will do it. Now let's connect Wi-Fi to the Peplink and do another speed test to see what the aggregate is through Wi-Fi on the phone. There we go, Peplink. Okay, so now the phone is connected to the Peplink. We're gonna run speed test. Connected to the internet. Let's see how it is with both Starlinks connected. Once again, we're connected to the Peplink. Bonded through SpeedFusion. It looks really good. All right, fantastic. 246 down, 29.5 up. And a ping of 32. I like it, very respectable. All right, well, let's try this test again and see if anything changes. Kind of crazy frame rate here. Frame rate 25 frames per second. Wonder if I don't have something set up right in the Peplink. Looks clean. Let's look at the analytics, see if they straightened up. Frame rate 30, average frame rate 26. I'd say right now it's doing worse than before. At least from the stream metrics. When we first started at 12:46, 4 minutes ago, it was a little shaky. And it leveled off. And there was something here at 12:48. A huge dip and rise. Let's see what happens. Live stream offline. Whoa, what? Unstable. Oh, look at that. It went to unstable. Wow. Okay, now it's good. Whoa, that's no good. What happened on the Peplink? Well, that's disappointing. It was doing better with just one Starlink. And here it looks like just one Starlink is working. All right, let's look at Vimeo. Oh, another big dropout at 12:55. Went to 5 frames per second. Damn. Okay. And some dips. Status is still good. I tried several adjustments on the Peplink to try to make the streaming smoother. Oh, it's looking a lot steadier. Despite the erratic stream metrics, the recordings on Vimeo very rarely dropped frames or had any strange motion. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to disconnect WAN 2 and see if it falls over to WAN 1. So WAN 2 is Starlink 2. Okay, here we go. Okay, I've done some adjustments on the Peplink. We can see that the WAN 2 is still doing most of the work. So what I'm going to do is disconnect WAN 2 and see if it falls over to WAN 1 without disconnecting the live stream. Let's just see. Here we go. I'm going to pull it right now. 1, 2, 3. Boom. And let's see. Whoa, lost it. Unstable. Unstable. What about here? Is it going to pick up the upload? It is. Okay, WAN 1 is picking up the difference. And what happened to Vimeo? Okay, it went back. There's a huge spike. And it looks like it's settling down now. Here. What does the usage statistics say? Okay, so at least that happened. But it's not super steady like the live view was, which is kind of disappointing. Well, let's plug WAN 2 back in and see what happens. WAN 2 is Starlink Mini 2. Boom. Okay. And let's see if it evens things out a little more. If anything happened on Vimeo, Vimeo's looking steady. See how long it takes for WAN 2 to come back to life. Nothing happening on WAN 2. Oh, there's some activity on WAN 2 now. Okay, that's good. Some upload activity on WAN 2. Email holding steady. Looks like after disconnecting WAN 2, everything went to WAN 1. And WAN 2 came back a little, but it's very spiky. It's not steady like WAN 1. So I'm going to disconnect WAN 1 and see what happens. See if we still have a stream going. Here we go. Disconnecting WAN 1, which is Starlink Mini 1. Let's look at Vimeo. Dropped, unstable, stuck. See if it comes back. There it goes. It comes back. Okay. It was unstable. Came back to real life. You can see the upload on WAN 2 picked up after I disconnected WAN 1. Okay, so that's positive. And the stream did not totally die. It did go down to 10 frames per second. Been at this for 30 minutes. So something's going on. But it seems like failover, not true bonding. I ended up spending more time troubleshooting, and I even had to ask ChatGPT and Gemini, but their suggestions just made it worse. So I've been up here for the past hour trying to sort this out. It didn't look like the bonding was actually working, and I asked ChatGPT and asked Gemini for some settings for the VPN SpeedFusion, but it ended up just creating a bottleneck or something. I'm not really sure what's going on, but let me show you what's happening. So unfortunately, the speed has really dropped on the satellites. And you see we've only got 1 frame per second, 0 frames per second going up to Vimeo. Gemini had some outbound SpeedFusion bonding settings that I tried, and that really screwed it up. I also tried ChatGPT. So I think the only thing I can do is stop the streaming. The camera died, the laptop died, but we're all back. I stopped the stream, or the stream died because the camera and the laptop died. So I'm gonna just start streaming again here on the Pixis and see if that fixes the problems we were having. Here's the Pixis menu, set to Ethernet. And then we're going to start streaming to Vimeo. Okay, streaming. And let's look at Vimeo. It could be that Vimeo just got confused by all the different settings that I was throwing at it. Streaming on again, and doing this screen record again. So you can see I've got some really wild fluctuations here. I checked the Starlinks, they both look good. So it's something with the Peplink. Okay, I've been out here for a while now testing this. It's still not working how I think it should work. I'm getting hungry and I'm gonna call it a day. Well, I think there's something that I'm not doing right in the Peplink. I guess my key takeaway is that there's more to Peplink than I thought. And getting the SpeedFusion VPN to work is probably where it's at. I'm gonna have to research on how to get the SpeedFusion VPN to work without throttling the bandwidth and actually doing real bonding with the two Starlinks. So it doesn't seem like it's as simple as I thought it would be. I ran some more tests with the Starlink and the Peplink. I started off with Starlink going straight into the Pixis, and that didn't turn out so great. I think I have some screenshots of that, so I wouldn't recommend that. Unfortunately, these tests just didn't turn out as good as the first time when I tried streaming directly from the Pixis to a Starlink. More testing. Now we've got the Pixis going straight into Starlink 1. Yes, you can see it's plugged directly Ethernet. Plugged Ethernet into Starlink 1. It's streaming SRT to the ATEM streaming bridge inside. We'll take a look at that soon. As you can see, we've been live. It's a streaming medium, I think, at 4.6 megabits per second. And let's see what it looks like inside. Got the YOLO box, which is connected to the streaming bridge back here. The streaming bridge is wired all the way to the first floor. There you go, it's recording. Oh, some glitching already. So this is just straight into the Starlink. The latency is very low. I don't know if you can see it here, but I'm gonna turn this with my hand here. And you see, it's pretty much real time. But see, it skips there. There's some macro blocking right there, yep. Okay, so that's no bueno. And I also tested SRT going directly out of the Pixis, Ethernet into the Peplink with the two Starlinks, going to the ATEM streaming bridge, but that wasn't so great either. So we've got the two Starlinks on the roof. They are connected to the Peplink. Peplink's got data going through it. Let's turn on the stream and see what happens. See if two Starlinks is better than one. Okay, like the other tests, we're doing streaming medium. Low latency is off. Okay, so this is with the two Starlinks connected to the Peplink. Recording with the YOLO box so we can check it out. Yesterday when I tried it, it was a little bit better than just one Starlink. So there is that, it's a little more stable, but you still got the jitters. There's some macro blocking right there. It's just not professional enough for a paid live stream. I think I would only use this as a backup to the LiveView Solo. We've got 7 megabytes going up. So it's using Starlink 2 for the most part. WAN 1. is nominal. Okay, but what happens if I pull WAN 2? Will it automatically switch to WAN 1 without going to black or losing the stream? Let's see. Okay, we'll have to double check the recording. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. It went to black. Will it drop the stream totally? And did it fail over? Lost the stream. Let's see if the Pixis is still going. Pixis says it's still streaming. Pixis says it's still live. Looks like WAN 1 picked up the slack. Okay, looks like it's back. So it cut out for, maybe 15, 20 seconds. All right, so that's the failover mode of the Peplink. As you can see there, it's blocking. There, yeah. There was minimal latency. It was almost real time, which was awesome. And if the shot was steady and straight on, it was okay. You still get some kind of ghosting and a little bit of artifacting. But once you start panning around and stuff, there's a lot of smearing, macro blocking. To make that work, I think you would have to have a second Peplink at the studio and do SpeedFusion bonding between the two Peplinks. And then that would be connected to the ATEM streaming bridge in the studio, which would rebroadcast it out through a hard line to Vimeo or YouTube or wherever you're streaming. Also, if you had like two cameras, they wouldn't necessarily be synced up. So that's no bueno either. Or if you took a switcher like an ATEM Mini to the remote location and plug the cameras into there, and then from there, you would stream to the streaming bridge. So you'd have to do the switch locally in the remote location. And then back in the studio, after the streaming bridge, you could add graphics and rebroadcast out to another platform, like I was saying, Vimeo or YouTube. That would probably work. I'm not sure I'm committed enough to the Peplink to buy a second device for that test yet, but maybe in the future. Okay, last test, now I've changed it to streaming low. I've changed the Pixis to streaming low, and we're gonna see if that affects the quality of the stream back at the studio. Here we go. We're still recording with the YOLO box. Recording's at 6 minutes and 49 seconds. So I changed it about a minute ago. It does look better. But I tested this yesterday too, and eventually it did fail, although the stream never totally died. But you still saw the macro blocks and glitches and stuff like that. Pretty good on a stable shot though. Let's go out there and do some pans. Okay, we'll have to see on the recording what these pans look like. They would probably never pan that fast in real life. Maybe something like this. But the conclusion of this last test with the Pixis to the Starlink is that even with streaming low, you still get macro blocking and glitches when you pan or zoom or anything like that. Despite my best wishes, the 2 Starlink system is not ready for prime time in terms of live streaming. It's best still used as a backup for something like the LiveView Solo. Or I tested it with Zoom and that worked great. But Zoom is hardly broadcast quality, and that's what we're looking for here. Ideally, the SRT would be broadcast quality all the way back to the studio with 0 or sub-second latency, and this image would be perfect. But because the Starlink is just very unstable, still going up to satellites, there's a lot of packet losses, a lot of jitter, and it makes it not viable for professional live streaming that you get paid for, which is what we're all about. We want reliability and we want it to look great. So still, LiveView is the winner. And I think going forward, definitely going to use LiveView with the 2 Starlinks, one connected with Ethernet, one connected with Wi-Fi. And then you still got 2 slots for modems. So I use an ATT modem and a Verizon modem. And I think that would get me through 99% of all the streams. All right, thanks for sticking with me on this long test. And I'll see you in the next one. I'm Horacio with CinemaViva. Ciao.
So yes, it worked. Both Starlink units streamed 1080p and the stream didn't drop. But that's not the same thing as broadcast reliable. Bonding without true SpeedFusion didn't fix the jitter, and SRT back to the studio wasn't clean under motion. For real events, live view is still the safer choice. In the next video, I'm testing 2 Starlinks with the live view solo to Vimeo, and we'll see if that finally gets us to something I'd trust on a paid production.